Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. Hope you guys all had a fantastic holiday weekend. Once again, I want to thank you guys so much for 100K subscribers here on the second channel, man. Like, this channel been so much fun, guys. I had a pretty good holiday. I went and saw some family and stuff. You know, I was only gone for a few days because, of course, you know, I've been focused on YouTube and stuff like that, man, making videos for you guys. And it was all good, except I literally, there was people that was there, that were there, you know, all week and stuff. And I took one step onto the grass. One step. And I stepped on a bitch-ass bee, guys. I stepped on a freaking bee, guys. Went outside for 1 second, man. So, yeah, besides for that, it was all pretty good out there, man. But, yeah, for today's video, we do got ranking the all-time greatest power forwards from every NBA team by Austin Sweat. Very intrigued to see where it puts my man Rasheed Wallace at from the Detroit Pistons. Let's get into it, guys.
The all-time best power forwards from every NBA team in the history of every team's history. Ever ranked.
Yeah.
You should know how this goes by now, but if you don't, here's the rule.
You know, Rasheed is pretty much just a lazier Dirk.
And all
like, his fadeaway was just as deadly. He just didn't do it a lot. He liked the freaking Jacob threes.
Links for the other videos are in the description.
Pissed me off.
So let's go. Number 30, the Magic with Horace Grant. His best
what about Rashard?
Holes, but he beats out Rashard Lewis here for his longevity and defense.
No, man, you gotta give that thing to Rashard Lewis, man. Come on now, man.
While in Orlando. 29, the 76ers and Billy Cunningham. Barkley would take this one, but he's going to get it on another team. 28, the Nets and Buck Williams. Really not many talented power forwards in Nets history.
Not really a lot of good big guys for the Nets.
27 with the Nuggets and
Brook Lopez.
ISO. Talented player, but by far had all of his best days.
Damn Colonels!
Then the Grizzlies take 26 for Zach Randolph, who is the least flashiest NBA player you'll ever see, but had some solid years in Memphis. Pau Gasol.
He ain't flashy, but you know he gets it done. He really gets it done. There's man, who was I just? You know, I was actually just watching some Anthony Bennett highlights, guys, and I was like, you know what, Anthony Bennett with that big ass body and stuff, like he could have been like the new age Zebo if he really like had the effort out there. But that's the difference between Zebo and Anthony Bennett is that Zebo tried.
Here,
he really could have been.
He's going to be mentioned later too. Number 25 goes to Larry Johnson from the Hornets. With
Zion's comparison,
100% the best Hornets power forward ever, because there's no competition. Even if there was, though, Larry was still a great player. For 24, we have the Raptors.
Well, that video will seem quiet, man.
And if anything, I'm underrating Pascal here, because I didn't.
What about Chris Bosh? I mean, unless you got like Chris Bosh for the Heat. But then, Udonis Haslam's going to get pissed off about that. You've been there for 30 years. You want to talk about longevity.
Why not overrate a player so early into his NBA career?
Bro, where's Chris Bosh?
I really think Siakam's the total package, though. And I'd say he's the player that a lot of people wanted Serge Ibaka to turn into once he stopped being known as just a shot blocker. Don't get me wrong, Serge has been great, but he never turned into a player as great all around as
No, Serge was just like a solid power forward.
Reason that he beats out Ibaka for this spot. And yes, it's unusual, but Chris Bosh is going to be ranked on another team.
Okay.
23. The Rockets and Raleigh.
Chris Bosh. Oh, wait, no.
Bruh.
Chris Bosh actually did sign like a $124 million contract with the Rockets, I believe it was, and then he had to quit basketball for health reasons.
It's not often you get a 7'4"
I hate them short shorts, man.
But the Rockets had that to play alongside.
Ain't doing nobody no favors.
And the duo made a great run to the 88 finals and looked like they'd be a threat for years to come. But luckily,
I like the sunglasses.
They traded
nice.
right before all of his injuries started and his young career went downhill. The Pistons take number 22 for Rasheed.
A little damn low, man. Like I said, if you would have tried hard, it would have been up there with, Dirk Nowitzki. 22 is a little low on this list, so I'm a little pissed off about that. I'm going to see, the 22 above him. Yeah, Rasheed Wallace. Also, shout out to Rip Hamilton and Aaron Flalo in the background, man. Also, there's me! Bro, there's me right there. No, it's not.
Wallace
wasn't at that game.
His best days were in Portland, but was still a key player and a two-time All-Star for Detroit.
Nah, I say his best days in Detroit, man.
The second half of his career. Number 21 goes to Jermaine O'Neal in the Indiana
Over
Pacers.
Rasheed?
And Jermaine did play center for most of his career, but the years that he played power forward for Indiana were
he was nice those days.
He was a dominant two-way player, averaging 20, 10, and 2.5.
He was actually BFFs with Sheed.
Almost 3 years in a row. Number 20, the Cavs with Kevin Love. Now, if we're ranking the Timberwolves Kevin Love, this man would be much higher. But as we know, things changed once he got to Cleveland. And it's not even because he was playing with LeBron or didn't fit on the team or anything like that. Because we've seen this past season how he's back on the terrible team.
Who else they got for the Cavs?
And everything,
nobody really.
Just not
Drew Gooden.
He used to be. He's still a solid 17-10 guy, and his 2016 championship does help his ranking, but the fact that he didn't play good and was injured in that finals, and has been injured many times since being in Cleveland, drops his.
He does a lot of yoga.
Down some. 19, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Oh God, you got him over Rasheed?
Blazers. It's weird to think about the NBA back in the early 2010s because back then the race for best power forward in the league was pretty often between both Kevin Love.
I really like Tim Duncan's hair now. You see that?
Holding that spot down pretty
it's a good look for him.
For a few years there.
He got like the
from how since then we've
Lou Almondson look going.
Anthony Davis come along and be much better power forwards than he ever was. So it's weird to think that at one time he was the best in the league. And it's also weird because that was really his only claim to fame since being in the league. I mean, there's some good playoff runs in there, but that's about it. 18, the Clippers and Blake Griffin.
Oh wow,
Both
yeah.
Blake and LaMarcus
you know, really they should have Blake Griffin. Like the Pistons. Well, no, they should have had. You know what? I guess that's right. Because Blake Griffin actually had his best year on the Detroit Pistons. But then again, it's like longevity. Like, okay, I understand him, Rasheed Wallace. But I was like, he could have represented the Pistons there, too.
They easily be switched out, and it's a close call on who ranks higher. Both men averaged similar numbers, and both made decent playoff runs.
I miss watching Blake Griffin play, guys.
The better passer, and the slightly better three-point shooter. While LA
Damn,
was
look at them handles.
Mid-range, but still, Blake's always been at least a solid mid-range shooter. And we've seen Griffin's game develop a lot more throughout the years, so we put him slightly ahead. One spot ahead of him, though, is Sean Kemp for the Thunder at 17.
The Rain Man.
Ibaka by a good amount. But honestly, I probably
would have
Kemp one spot below Aldridge had it have not been for his one finals appearance. Because Blake, LA, and Sean are all pretty similar talent-wise. But with him being
Sean
the
Love.
one that made it that close to a championship, alongside Gary Payton, it was an easy choice to rank him here. Then we have the Kings with Chris Webber at 16, who had no competition for this spot. And he was a solid defender, great on offense, and better on that end than Blake, Kemp, and
not a lot of people talk about Chris Webber. His passing, too.
That I used to rank those three, with Kemp being ahead of them because of his finals appearance, I rank Webber ahead of all of them. Well, for one, because like I said, he was the better player, but also because if his game
top 2 power forward in college of all time,
he most definitely would have won a championship of his own with the Kings. So that argument can't really be used against Webber. 15. Dave DeBusschere for the Knicks. Great two-way player that averaged 16 and 11 for his career, but also made the all-defensive first
team 6 years not bad.
And that skill set helped
NBA's I didn't read that said.
Their 2 championships.
I could go back, but
and got him into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Then Dennis Rodman takes number 14 for the Chicago Bulls. And Rodman's a weird guy to rank. In terms of skill, he'd rank in at number 30. But since he helped the Bulls win 3 of their championships and dominated rebounds and defensively as one of the best third options in a big 3 ever, is what made him rank this high.
Fair enough.
The fact that he also led the NBA in rebounds every single year that he
played averaged like 30 a game,
also helped him out. 13. The Warriors and Draymond Green. And Draymond's another weird one to rank.
Draymond Green? Bro, Draymond Green is a great player. Like, I am not a Draymond Green hater at all. Like, he's from Saginaw, Michigan, guys. I'm not a hater, but, like, so many of these guys, if you would have, like, replaced Draymond with, like, obviously, I don't know, man. It's so hard for me to say Draymond's up there, you know? Like, he belongs on this list, no doubt. He's, like, their best power forward, but I don't know. Like, if you replace Draymond and you give him, like, the Clippers Blake Griffin, but then again, I guess it's all hindsight, right? Or it's all hypotheticals. Okay.
I'll admit, this could be a few spots too high or too low for Draymond Green.
I'd say too high, to be honest.
Like that means he's in a good spot, right around where he should be. Either way, though, I had to rank him slightly ahead of Dennis Rodman, and this is another one that could have gone either way. Both guys won 3 championships with their respective teams, and were at least third options on them. And even though Rodman was a much better defender and rebounder by a good margin, in every
I don't think he was a much better defender. Draymond's a very good defender.
Better and diverse player. He's a floor general and
like Draymond's right there defensively.
A great passer, good rebounder, good at getting steals and blocks, and a great defender. So he beat out Dennis. But comment if you think he should have or not. 12. The Heat.
Well, see, that's the thing. It was like when you do like lists like this, it's so tough because like, are we basing it based off of skill or team fit? Because I feel like that's 2 different criterias when you do an all-time great list. Like to me, greatest power forwards should be based off stats. Just because, like, you know, I don't know. That's just my reasoning, but that's it. Okay.
Chris Bosh. Personally,
there we go.
Bosh played much better while in Toronto, but for the fact that he took all of his skills and put his ego to the side to win 2 championships with the Heat, we rank him.
Love his jump shot. One of my favorite 2K jump shots of all time.
The transition that Bosh made usually isn't one that earns a guy like him a ton of credit, but he deserves it. Not many guys could have made that switch that he did, and have gone from a star player to a third option. But eventually,
I missed the afro
in that role, and was a huge piece for Miami.
Like that was a good look right there.
The Lakers then take number 11 with power Pau Gasol. And no, Anthony Davis's half season there doesn't rank over Pau's
Yeah, I agree with that.
career there. But it was an easy choice to rank Pau ahead of Bosch, because I mean, they really served the same role on their teams. They needed to post up.
I mean, they served the same role, but Pau was the second option, so I mean, there's something to be said about that.
Space the floor to mid-range, and sometimes 3 when needed, and they were asked to play defense as best as they could. And not to mention, both men won 2 championships on their teams. The only difference was that Chris Bosh was a third option.
Yo, there we go. It's like I watched the video.
While Pau was a second option to Kobe Bryant, so he ranks higher. Number 10, Anthony Davis with the Pelicans. And 80 is another tricky one, because for the past few guys, how they performed in the postseason and how they helped championship teams played a big part in their ranking. And now,
right, like T-Wolf's Kevin Love, I mean, he was putting up crazy-ass numbers, but it's like, yeah, they didn't win, but neither really did Anthony Davis on the Pelicans, so, I don't know. Like, skill-wise, yes, he's definitely a top power forward, but should it be about skills or should it be about winning games?
Here's Davis having only played 13 playoff games and having only won 5 of them. But on the other hand, he's by far the best player skill-wise up until this point. And I don't know for sure, but chances are, if he would have taken anybody's role on any of those other teams previously mentioned, those teams would definitely have had just as much or more.
Right, you can say that about a lot of them, though.
So I decided to rank him here, but I could see how this one could be controversial too. If he wins any championships though, and plays a big part in it, he'll definitely deserve to be ranked this high, and much higher in the future though. Number 9, Elvin Hayes for the Wizards.
Oh yeah, double machine.
Too often, unless you're mentioning Wizards all-time greats, because he's definitely one of them, and one of the 50 greatest players of all time, according to the NBA.
Yo, where are like one of those jackets at, man? Can you imagine me wearing one of those?
Wizards, he's definitely their best.
Be awesome. Gus Johnson, Antoine Jameson.
Competition here. The Atlanta Hawks are at number 8 with Bob Pettit. Some people think of Josh Smith when they think of who should be in this spot.
Not me. Hell no. I knew Josh Smith was a fraud the second he was in that dunk contest. He laid down that piece of tape by like the 3-point line, and then he just ignored it. Like, that's just finessing, you know, at its best right there. Like, hey, let me show you this tape. I'm going to dunk from right here, and he just didn't do it. I was like, this is a fraud.
But he's no.
Now, Bob Pettit's way better.
Who averaged 29 and 16 in his best season, won 2 MVP awards, an NBA championship, and was an 11-time All-Star. Number 7, Kevin McHale for the Celtics. And like many other power forwards so far, McHale was a great second option that could do it all. He averaged 20 and 10 whether he was doing it while winning the
those are Zebo numbers,
or doing so while playing some of the best defense in basketball and helping Larry Bird win his 3 championships in the 80s. Number 6, the Bucks and Giannis. And number 30 through 7, mostly, not all, but mostly consisted of guys that were either second or third options and were complementary players.
Do we have Giannis as a top? Like, is he there? I mean, I'm just asking. Like, I have no problem with it if you guys don't. But do we have Giannis? Is he officially a top 6 power forward of all time now? Very curious what you guys think.
Other stars and helped them win. But these last 6 are all superstar players in their own
That's
right.
crazy to think about, though.
Giannis is definitely one of them. And at only 25, I had to rank him this high because of that. Because he's the star on his team, won his own MVP, and averages 30 and 13 on some of the most efficient play in the league today. There's no doubt in my mind that very soon he will climb much higher on this list. I mean, who knows just how high he can get when it's all said and done.
Could he be number 1?
If he keeps things up how he has been, then the sky really is the limit. Number 5, Kevin Garnett
the big ticket.
For the Timberwolves. With the way things are going, Giannis is definitely on the path to rank higher than KG very soon. But Garnett
used to love watching KG play on the T-Wolves.
While Giannis has had 3 as a power forward for the Bucks. The only thing Giannis needs is more time, but until then, KG still stays inside the top 5. And as one of the best two-way power forwards the NBA has ever seen, he deserves to be. Number 4, the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley. Garnett was a much better defender than Barkley was, and Charles was the better scorer. While
can't believe Barkley was only like 6'5".
The only difference was that the season Barkley won his, he also led the Phoenix Suns to the NBA Finals and took Michael Jordan and the Bulls to 6 games. While KG never made the finals in Minnesota, which is why Chuck ranks slightly higher.
Yeah, but he made it on the Celtics.
3,
should count for something.
With Karl Malone. And he ranks here for obvious reasons. Now, putting his past personal life to the side for this discussion, we have to give it to Karl for the fact that he was the perfect...
Hey, it's a basketball list. You know, what he did, I mean, we all know the story. At least, well, if you don't look it up, guys, it's not great. But this is based off basketball, right?
Number 2, the Mavs with Dirk Nowitzki.
I mean, I ate Taco Bell twice last week, guys. I didn't want that shit to get released, but there it is, you know?
Everyone's list to be the second greatest power forward of all time. But I'm changing that here. Carl was definitely the much better defender, had a few more years playing at a top level, and he has 2 MVPs compared to Dirk's 1. But Nowitzki,
Dirk's my favorite power forward.
For big men. He's the much better shooter from mid-range and 3, and while both men made 2 NBA finals, let's keep in mind a couple things. If the one in 2006...
My favorite power forwards all time, Dirk. Number 2, probably have to say Rashid. Number 3, I really like Amari Stoudemire. And then number 4, Tim Duncan. Number 5, Luke Herringody.
6 wasn't pretty much rigged. He would have won 2 championships, but still, even without that, he still won 1, which is more than Carl. Dirk also beat the best player in the world at the time of him playing when Malone couldn't. And let's also remember the biggest factor here, that Karl Malone got all of his career accomplishments, while his best teammate for his entire career is all-time great John Stockton, while Dirk's best all-time teammate was Jason Terry.
Hey, the Jet was a problem, man.
One, the Spurs with Tim Duncan, and I'd say probably 95% of people all would unanimously agree that this is Tim Duncan's spot.
Sure.
So I don't need to really explain anything, and as for you 5%, slap yourself twice.
Oh, bang, boom, boom. Nah, I believe in it.
Next. So if you're not already subscribed...
Okay, guys, that's the end of the video right through. You guys think about this ranking? Do you think it's legit? Do you got a problem with some? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.